What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are here with the second injury report of the week for the Lions and for the Atlanta Falcons, man. And we have Thursday night football. San Fran in Tennessee tonight. I like that. That's a good matchup. That's a good game. We also are playing Arthur Smith this weekend, who is from Tennessee. So if you really like tie it together, y'all see how that No? Well, who do you guys got? Put it down in the comments below, man. You got San Fran or you got Tennessee? Not going to lie, I kind of like San Francisco in this one. I'm going to go with the 49ers, trying to stay alive in this NFC. We're getting 3 teams in the NFC West this year. Definitely could happen. Right now, they got 3 teams in the NFL playoff picture. But today, we have the second injury report, plus we have some notes from the coordinators. And there should be a video dropping soon after this one comes out that I told you guys about yesterday. But I want to put this one out first because this is like the news. So let's get it started.
The city's been down and it found a way to get up. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. We're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
And welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here, and we are back with another injury report update video. These are always fun to do. This one shouldn't take too long, especially on the Lions side. Now the Falcons do have some changes. They got some stuff going on there, some new additions to their list today. The Lions is very similar, but we do have some updates, especially from the coordinators that we were given today. So let's just kick it off. Let's dive right into it. I think we started with the Lions first yesterday, so let's continue that. Let's keep that trend up. Let's start with the Detroit Lions. Now, as you guys can see, there's really not a lot of changes, like at all, on this list. There's actually only one change on the injury report today from yesterday, and that's because I believe yesterday wasn't a walkthrough either. So it's pretty darn accurate. There's only been one change on the injury report today, and that is some good news. It's Julian Okwara, who has finally returned to practice. Oh my goodness.
Hold on, dude. Yeah. Oh my God.
Julian Okwara is back with limited participation today. So yesterday they told us he was running off to the side, showing a little bit of a limp, but trying to get back to it. Now here he is with limited participation. So even though yesterday doesn't count, I'm going to give it like a little bit of credit, saying that he was sort of practicing, but not really. Julian, I'm not going to say for sure he's going to play this weekend, but he's been out for weeks now with his ankle injury, and he could be back this weekend. He just could be, and he could pair up with Austin Bryant and Charles Harris. Oh, snap, we're getting some pieces back. This is exciting. Julian Okwara, we could see him again, at least this season. I guess that's the exciting part to take away. Now, the bad news is Amani, his status did not change. Still no participation with the thumb injury. Not sure what's going on with Amani here. Aaron Glenn talked a lot about Amani today. He praised him. Didn't really bring up the injury. So don't really have much of an update aside from the fact that he didn't participate once again. He praised Amani Oruwariye, Aaron Glenn said. He said, look, the guy has a chance to be special. The next step for Amani, because he's got ball skills that are very tough to find. He's like a receiver the way that he attacks the ball in the air. But the next thing for Amani is becoming a shutdown corner, a guy that basically takes the receiver out of the game. There are guys that you shy away from. You don't necessarily want to attack that guy a ton. He said, really, some of the guys that I know, Marshawn Lattimore, Jalen Ramsey, it's about the mentality. And that doesn't mean you have to be talked, doesn't mean you have to be loud. Your play does the talking for you when you shut down that receiver. He said that's the next step for Amani. And there's definitely things that he needs to work on. He seemed to kind of point to man coverage or being off in man coverage, sticking with the guy. I can see what he's saying there. I feel like, honestly, he's been better the last couple weeks. I know he was really good against AJ Green. We know that ball skills are there. He's becoming extremely opportunistic for us. I think it's a better matchup for him against some of those bigger receivers. I think where you look at the development is maybe some of the smaller, quicker guys sticking with them in man coverage. That way you can show that versatility. You just say, hey, that's their best, like a Justin Jefferson this season, right? Jefferson gave us some issues with Amani one-on-one. Hey, stick on Jefferson and slow him down. Make them not target him a ton. Now, a lot of things, he's just in different spots all the time. So it's like, well, I mean, I'm not always on him. But I think it's guys like that. However, like AJ Green, a size like that, like, hey, it seemed like that really brought the best out of him because it kind of leveled the playing field in terms of the quickness and change of direction and the ball skills. Hey, Amani do look like a receiver. You're telling me we didn't try this guy out at receiver at all when we needed some help there? That's what you're telling me? Okay, I don't buy it. Fortunately, no one from the Lions actually made the Pro Bowl. We did get some Pro Bowl alternatives today. Actually, a couple that surprised me. Some Pro Bowl alternatives, but one of those was not Amani. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Actually, AJ Terrell from the Atlanta Falcons, if you like PFF, he has the highest PFF grade for any corner, but statistically, he's only a sub 50% completion percentage. He didn't make it either. Look, I don't rock with the Pro Bowl. I just don't like it. I don't like the system. It ain't for me, man. It just ain't. But it is unfortunate we got no one in there. I was definitely hoping Amani would get a little bit of recognition. So That stinks, but maybe when he comes back, he'll come back with some fire because of that. Hopefully that's the case. Now, Amani is out this weekend. We know Iffy is back, so he'll likely get a start on the outside across from probably Will Harris again, if we're being honest. I mean, now, Atlanta, they play differently. They do play differently, and actually Aaron Glenn hit on that today, saying that, back in 2018, I played against Russell Wilson in Seattle, and we came out with the game plan, a three-man rush him. Mobile quarterback, three-man rush, keep him in the pocket, and he said he torched us. So he said, this year, I told him, hey, look, we're either going to win this game or we're going to lose by 50 because we're going to get after him. We're going to dial up the heat. And we saw that Lions brought the heat from different spots all over the place. And it worked. It absolutely worked. A shorter quarterback, mobile quarterback, it worked really well. And he said, I told myself after Russell Wilson game, I will never do that again if I get the chance. So this week he got after it. But the Falcons play different. They're more of the ground and pound team. Aaron Glenn said you got to buckle your chin straps. They're going to run 2 backs, and then they're going to hit you with a shot with Russell Gage or Kyle Pitts. Look, I haven't watched a ton of film on the Falcons yet, but I know that Kyle Pitts is lined up everywhere. On the line, slot, wide receiver. So I'm excited for this matchup. I'm going to have to watch the film and see where they really line them up to see how much we see this. But Iffy versus Pitts, I'm just saying. After we drafted this guy in the offseason, we were talking about this matchup coming up at some point. When he's matched up against Pitts, having the versatility, to line up even in different spots if they have to against him. But that's the kind of matchup that I'm excited for, where it's like this unicorn type of player, but all of a sudden, you flip to the other side, you got a 6'2" Iffy who can run like the wind, is what people, well, not really. He's pretty fast, though, for his size. That's what I'm ready for. I'm ready to see that. Play more like a Tennessee, so maybe like a little bit of, no, you can't do that. Anyway, we'll just see what happens with Amani. But like I said, it'll probably be Iffy on the outside, I would bet, and Will Harris on the outside once again. It seems like the Lions kind of stick with something that they like. Having A.J. Parker back means that you can continue to play him at slot. So that could be the Lions' cornerback lineup. I am excited to see Iffy again, assuming that he starts on the outside, and, he'll have Mark Gilbert as his backup, so we'll have a backup cornerback, so that's some good news. But I definitely want to see Amani play again, man. Like I said, I'm trying to see this dude hit 10 interceptions. He's been balling. Let's continue. Josh Woods, no participation for the second straight day. He did not finish the Arizona Cardinals game, so it's looking like we could see Jalen Reese-Maybin and Derek Barnes taking the linebacker role this week. As we know, Alex Anzalone is also on IR. So those could be our 2 guys this week. Jalen stepped up, and according to Glenn, he's one of those guys that was like, we didn't really know 100% we were getting until we put him out there. And, well, he responded last week as a green dot. Expect that to be the case again this week, him to hold that role down. And Derek Barnes, who's played a lot of snaps recently, will probably get a lot of snaps again this weekend as the 2 starters, assuming Josh Woods can't play, because that's what it's starting to look like. Brockers, still limited. I mean, this is just the case with Brockers. He'll probably play, though, to be honest. Same thing for Jonah Jackson. Hey, good back-to-back days for Jonah. That's a good sign that he could be back this week getting a start at left guard and helping fill back in. He is a Pro Bowl alternative. He is a second Pro Bowl alternative at guard. A little bit surprised by that, but I do like it. Anytime a Lion gets some recognition, I'm all for it. And he did. Look, Jonah's been run blocking his butt off this year, so definitely deserves for that. I think his pass pro's gotten better as the season went on, but it definitely started off shaky. We'll see, though, how he responds this week as he's able to come back. I hope he is. I really do. I want to see him with this offensive line for the rest of the season. Khalif Raymond continues to be on here with limited participation, dealing with his shoulder injury, but back-to-back days of participating is usually a good sign with the receiver spot. Khalif's tough, man. I know he ain't big, but he's tough, so I got a lot of confidence in Khalif Raymond's ability to play. Josh Reynolds, same thing. I mean, he had this thigh pop-up last week, played through it. He's limited for the last 2 days. But again, I would anticipate he's going to play as well. And we do need both those guys. We definitely do, because today, Trinity Benson has been placed on the COVID list. Now, he kind of fell out of a role for us at the receiver spot. Hodge and has been kind of a special teams player. He's played a tad offensively, but it's actually been more Tom Kennedy than anything. Both those guys kind of fell out of a role offensively. Well, Trinity Benson has now hit the COVID list. So hoping for a speedy recovery. Trinity Benson, man, get well soon. You do hate to hear that kind of news, but we could use both these guys again this weekend, and I want to continue to see this pass attack just roll. And I'm going to talk a lot about that in this other video that's about to drop soon, so check it out when it drops. We do have some good news. With the bad news of Trinity Benson, we do have some good news as our COVID list is getting smaller. Surely it's getting smaller. As today we have taken Nickell Roby-Coleman, the cornerback, slot corner that played outside for us, and also cornerback Corey Ballentine off of this list. Now remember, Ballentine was a returner before Godwin kind of took that role. They're still probably going to roll with Godwin. Ballentine, probably more of a special teams guy for us at this point. Nickell Roby-Coleman. I mean, both these guys are on the practice squad, so let me just say that. Neither of these guys are actually on the active roster. Remember, there was just a rule where you can elevate these guys off the practice squad as much as you have to for the rest of the season because this COVID stuff popped up. So, very least, he gives us some depth. with guys of experience. Nick Elroy-Coleman did battle. Corey, really haven't seen him play cornerback for us this season. So, again, it'd probably be just mainly special teams for him if he's out there. But it's some more cornerback depth. And as long as that list keeps getting smaller, that's always a good sign. And then the final two, Swift and Jalen, continuing on the same path, limited participation. Anthony Lynn said today that Swift, they keep upping his reps. They keep improving throughout practice. So that's a good sign as they're trying to kind of work him back, as Campbell said, make sure he's confident in his shoulder. And Jalen, slowly working him back with limited participation, but he played last week and he played well. So 2 weeks of practice usually is a good thing. And that is the Lions side of the injury report. Again, not a ton of changes here, but honestly, not a ton of bad news either, aside from the Amani one and Josh Woods. The Amani one hurts. Remember, we have Tracy Walker back at safety. So we're getting some pieces back. You love to see. If you know we're missing some, we are getting some back. But unfortunately, Trinity Benson will hit the COVID list today. So again, wishing for a speedy recovery there. Additions today, plus unfortunately, they also had to place a player on the COVID list. Another young player here as well, Marlon Davidson. If you guys remember that name, it sounded very familiar to me. I remember this 2020 second-round pick. Okay, one of their defensive ends in this 3-4 defense. He has been placed on the COVID list today. I mean, all this COVID stuff, every time I hear it, I feel bad. I really do. And you're just wishing for a speedy recovery for these guys. So Marlon Davidson has joined that. Defensive line, we'll kind of keep an eye on it just to see who's able to go. I started watching the film a little bit for Atlanta, so I got a little bit of background knowledge, but not enough where I could do like a preview yet. We'll get to that. However, let's dive into this Falcons injury report. Starting off top, Tajay Sharp, who like to take their shots with back-to-back days of no participation. They called it day today yesterday, so we'll see if Friday he improves. Friday will be a huge day because if he's limited, I can see him playing this week. Just where we're at in the season, you know, I mean, this is one of the things where you don't have to practice every week to play at this point, so it could be just taking it, being very cautious because it's day-to-day and just seeing where that foot is by tomorrow. So that'll be a huge day for Sharp. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, though, they could be out one of their receivers. Deion Jones, now he's back, full participation. He was out with an illness, apparently was non-COVID related. Actually, an update on the Marlon Davidson situation. I guess last week he was inactive because he was dealing with an illness, and they said it was non-COVID related, and now all of a sudden he's on the COVID list. Deion Jones is back, and he's got a lot of numbers for them. His PFF grade is awful, though. Like, what the heck? But he does got some numbers. He's got over 130. He's got 113 tackles. He's kind of all over the place. We knew that with Deion Jones. He's a production inside linebacker for them, and he returned today with full participation. So I'm excited to watch the film on Deion Jones. I haven't seen him in a while play, but I know I watched him in the past. So I'm excited to get back on that this week when I take a look at him. But he returned full participation, so good news there. Must be feeling better today. Chris Lindstorm, the guard, he's also back for a personal reason. Now, they didn't say, like, full participation. They didn't even list it. Like, they would list it as they put in, you know? So I just put in, like, okay, he's playing this weekend. And I would assume that's the case because it's not an illness, not an injury. It's just personal. And now he's back, so he's going to be good to go. So Chris Lindstorm should be starting at guard this week. Another young player. Tyler Davidson, the defensive lineman. Now, he's dealing with his illness. He did not return today. So Deion Jones did. Davidson did not. One of their, defensive linemen, nose tackles on this team. He's got 30 combined tackles so far this season, a couple of pressures. Avery Williams, he's one of the new additions to this list with limited participation, one of their cornerbacks showing up. Now, Avery Williams has been mainly recently a return specialist for them. If Cordero Patterson has been more involved in the run game. Cordero Patterson, I didn't know he was that. I know we've seen this guy a ton. I mean, you hear the name, you're like, man, we see this guy every single year, it feels like. But I didn't know they used him the way they did. They're using him almost like a power back. They use him everywhere in this offense. 2 running back sets. They'll use him, of course, because he can pass catch. Cordero Patterson, I know we're kind of getting off topic, but statistically, he's got 4.2 yards per carry this season, over 560 yards rushing, and he's got 48 receptions with 524 yards receiving. That is versatile as heck. We know they got Mike Davis as well, who is with the Carolina Panthers, kind of power back they brought in this offseason. So Cordero Patterson, and he can get involved in the special team side too, so you can't forget about that because he's still as dangerous as what Dave Phipps said. But Avery Williams has kind of been that guy, but if he's dealing with something, maybe they go with Cordero Patterson this week. We'll just have to wait and see, but that's what you got to keep an eye on with there. Patterson does show up with rest. They listed it as not injury related, but we were told it was rest. And same thing with Lee Smith, their tight end. Couple updates. They had 2 Pro Bowl selections for the Atlanta Falcons. Their tight end Kyle Pitts, who's putting up really great numbers, picking it up recently, and also their veteran long snapper, Josh Harris, has been put in the Pro Bowl. For the Lions, we have 4 alternatives, okay? Now, I guess there's like levels to the alternativeness. Like, you could be the first alternative, the second, the third. You could be the alternative to the alternative of the alternative, if that makes any sense. And we got 4 of those guys, okay? So I want to run through those guys just to give some recognition, give some congrats to those players for making that. Our first alternative is TJ Hawkinson, the tight end. Fortunately, we kind of had like a drop-off in the middle part of the season, which we actually talked about in this video. That's about the drop statistically for Hawkinson because our offense was just struggling to move the ball. But he did have his numbers that continued all season in the pass game. Big part of this offense for us all season. And Hawkinson, we know, is on IR, though. He had surgery. So, I mean, the Pro Bowl is right before the Super Bowl, right? So maybe he's feeling better by then and he can play in it if he would be the alternative up. I mean, it'd be cool. Maybe that'd be a reason to watch the Pro Bowl. I don't know. Jonah Jackson, as we stated, congratulations, Double J. Is that a new nickname, JJ? Hey, hold up. I don't know who calls him that. I like Jonah Jackson. I just think he's got to improve in pass protection. Like, I'm just straight up, and I know this dude will run block and move people. And Anthony Lynn said it today, like, not to say he plays dirty, but, you know, he plays nasty. And that's one thing, remember, we drafted Bob Quinn said about him that he liked, is he has that kind of style, just like a Graham Glasgow did. Jason Kabinda, well deserved. I think Jason Kabinda, because, I mean, the Pro Bowl is a little bit of a popularity contest. Kabinda, the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. Touchdown last week. Shout out to Jason Kabinda. Well deserved. Does some dirty work. And, man, does he block. Oh, my goodness, does he block. His versatility has expanded so much this season into becoming a viable pass catcher. He's played some tight end for us. Jason Kabinda deserves a lot of love here. Heck, he's ran the ball a few times, some good runs too. And Jalen Reese-Maven for special teams. Okay, hey, hold up. What? Okay, Jalen, we see, dog. Hey, special teams. He's a good special teams player. We've had some studs on special teams this year. Hey, Joshua Woods, no, this year. So they got those 4 guys. I feel like Amani definitely got snubbed. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Charles Harris could have got some recognition. But again, I'm not a huge Pro Bowl guy. But I did want to give some recognition to those players and congratulations. Now, we do have a few little updates from our offense coordinator, defense coordinator, some updates there as well that I kind of wanted to roll through before we wrap up this video and I upload this next video because, again, I got to put this one up first. So let's go through those. Starting off with the offensive coordinator, he said Tim Boyle. Anthony Lynn said Tim Boyle, he looked good in practice. Like, we've had him 3 good weeks now of practice. He said if he has to go, we're excited to see Tim Boyle out there. So Dan Campbell said they were fired up because of the practice he's had. He said he's excited. They seem very excited to see Tim Boyle. Well, which is making me excited to see Tim Boyle, man. I mean, this is a whole different situation for him, too. He's healthy. I mean, he's had weeks of practice. You're going to be indoors. I'm excited to see it. And I know he's got the arm. We did this before Tim Boyle's first start, but unfortunately, man, he only had 77 passing yards, and it wasn't the greatest debut. Things just looked off on timing a little bit, but recently, like a St. Brown, Anthony Lynn said, man, he's been so good with the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks trust him, and he's going to be a high-volume player because they trust him, and he'll block. Actually, Anthony Lynn said St. Brown reminds him a little bit of a Hines Ward. All the attention to detail, the toughness. Hines Ward, oh, that takes me way back to the old Maddens I started playing, man. When I started playing Madden, Hines Ward, that's what that takes me back to. So, shout out to Hines Ward, by the way. Anyway, some little love there for Monroe St. Brown. Definitely deserves it. He's been killing it this year. Most receptions for a Lions rookie receiver. I mean, that's well deserved, man. He's still got weeks to go. But Boyle could play this weekend. No update on Jared Goff and his COVID situation today, so we're kind of just wait and see. Again, he has to test negative. It's simple as that. He's got to test negative, and I'm sure he's been testing daily. So tomorrow, Friday, I feel like tomorrow's kind of last gasp. It almost feels like if he can test negative tomorrow and come back to practice, he'll play this weekend. If not, I would say it's highly unlikely that he plays this weekend. So tomorrow will be kind of the final look for it. The running back spot, we know Jamal and Swift are back. And like we said, Swift has had improved carries, so they're going to see if he's ready this week. If not, he said he likes the backfield. Anthony Lynn did. But he said Jamal looks like Jamal. So expect to see a lot of Jamal this weekend. He said he looks like himself. That's what he looks like. And it's a great problem to have all of these running backs. Now, he did address the Godwin situation. He's been fumbling the ball a little bit recently. He said, my thing is always, if they're having some of those is getting in their head, is keep feeding them the ball. But he did say, with his issues of fumbling, it's fundamental things. It's carrying the ball too low. Like, I mean, this guy has not been a running back in the past. He was a safety transition to running back that had some skills with the ball in his hands. I think going back to high school, he did play some running back, but they said it's fundamental things for him. So sure, they want to get those things cleared up for sure. I mean, yeah, you want to give him carries, but you got to make sure the fundamentals are cleaned up. And we got Deuce Staley, so I'm sure he'll do that. Look, Deuce Staley, you want to talk about fumbles? Deuce Staley's all about fumbles, okay? He knows how to stop running backs from fumbling. So if there's one guy that I trust to make sure this stops happening, it's Deuce Staley. It is. I know what he's done in the past with his fumbling drills and how to hold on to the football. So I trust that they're going to get that figured out. Staley will make sure that he's holding the football if he still keeps getting carries. But we could see Swift and Jamal. We could see Swifty and Swaggy again this week, which is exciting. He gave an interesting answer about the offensive coordinator role and what he's doing right now for the team. And he said this, look, it's not the role that I came here for, but I'm still focused on right now helping Dan Campbell. How do we win this week? And he said, he really didn't elaborate on his role because you can't right now during the season. We'll see what the future holds when the future gets here, kind of make decisions on what my role is going to be. But he straight up said it like, this isn't the role I came here for. We know he came to be the play caller. He's like, I'm still the offensive coordinator. I'm still calling some plays, but Dan Campbell is now calling plays. And then he kind of started to say, if the opportunity presents itself, when they were asking, what do you want to be a head coach, an OC? What do you want to be going forward? He said, when the opportunity presents itself, and then he kind of stopped himself and he was like, well, hold up. No, I'm here right now. This is my opportunity. So, it just kind of feels like he's not going to be brought back, as he does need to stay focused right now and help us for these last 3 weeks of season. So interesting stuff there with Anthony Lynn. It's just been a weird situation since that change. It just has been. Listening to talk on Thursday is just kind of strange. Now he's not the OC. Glenn, who gave a lot of love to Amani today, said he has a new appreciation for his hands. He's like a receiver. Like we said, his next level would be being a shutdown corner. Charles Harris, there's another guy for Charles Harris, a pass rusher. He said, Charles Harris, we're going to worry about bringing him back when it's the offseason. But right now, he's the line. And we're focused on right now. We'll talk about him when we're not playing a game. We're not playing the Falcons. That's our focus right now because he's here right now. And he said with Harris, that was a decision won't be up to me. But I like Harris. And I would like him to be here. I would like Charles Harris to be here too. I am right with you there, Aaron Glenn. But the rest of the stuff I kind of already touched on, the Seattle one and being aggressive. But this week is different. You got to watch Gage and Pitts on the outside. And all of a sudden, bam, they're going to run. And they got Cordell Patterson in the backfield, who's super explosive. And then, of course, Mike Davis to mix it up and just be a hammer. He's only averaging 3.4 yards a pop, but he does have over 100 carries this season. We'll probably get more into the film later this week, into the weekend. But for now, that's what I got. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, man. Check out our next video. We're going to talk about this offense, talk about the draft pick and all that stuff. Thank you, Prop, for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for the final injury report and Christmas Eve. It's crazy how close it is. Have a great night, and I'm